Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a multidisciplinary creative, someone who paints, writes, designs, builds, the whole shebang, you have probably felt the absolute frustration of trying to cram yourself into a standard job description, right? Squeezing your massive skill set into this tiny, restrictive corporate box. It's exhausting, and honestly, it's a huge waste of your potential. So today, we're completely dismantling that old way of thinking. We're going to look at a framework for architecting your own role. We are moving away from that endless, soul-crushing job search, and we're going to see how you can literally create the opportunity yourself. Okay, let's just dive right in. Look at this. Not a hired hand, a creative force. Man, that is the radical mindset shift that governs absolutely everything we're exploring today. Think about it. When you see yourself as just a hired hand, you're essentially waiting for permission. You're sitting around waiting for someone to post a job, hand you a brief, and dictate exactly what you need to execute. But when you step into the identity of a creative force, you completely flip the script. You become this indispensable visionary, the kind of person organizations desperately bring in when they realize, hey, we need originality, we need culture, we need real engagement, but they have absolutely no clue how to actually pull it off. And there is just such a sharp contrast between the passive trap most artists fall into and the active strategy of a true creative consultant. On the left here, you've got the traditional artist's hustle, right? Grinding for those isolated commissions, hoping someone buys a piece, or endlessly scrolling through employee job boards. Honestly, it's a waiting game. But on the right, this is the real strategy. It's about positioning yourself inside systems that already have massive momentum. I'm talking about city redevelopment projects, huge festivals, commercial real estate. These systems already have the money, they have the audiences, and the physical space. But what are they desperately missing? The creative infrastructure. They need someone to activate that space, and frankly, that someone is you. So the absolute crucial point here is understanding your unique value within these systems. And that brings us to this profound concept, the cultural interpreter. A cultural interpreter is someone who naturally bridges worlds that usually don't even speak the same language. You are bridging the gritty, raw energy of the street with highly refined professional execution. You're taking deep, abstract philosophy and turning it into striking visual reality, connecting authentic community energy with strategic corporate branding. You see, organizations and developers are constantly saying things like, we want culture, or we need artistic energy in this building, but they literally do not have the vocabulary to shape it. They don't know what that actually means in practice. And that right there, that is the exact gap where you step in. Let's kind of cut through the chaos of the creative market for a second and map out where you actually fit. There are 6 real, actionable umbrella roles out there where your multidisciplinary value is not just understood, but highly compensated. And notice something important here. None of these are just painter or graphic designer. No way. We're looking at the creative consultant and public art consultant, the folks advising cities on visual direction. We've got the atmosphere designer who shapes the emotional energy of experiential retail or massive festivals. There's the creative speaker, the original IP creator, and the multidisciplinary maker who handles those huge custom luxury installations. These are lanes where you aren't just executing a task, you're building an entire ecosystem. And really, this gets to the absolute core of why you've always struggled with standard job titles. Because your superpower isn't just one medium, it's synthesis. Synthesis is your ability to take your craftsmanship, your branding instincts, your street credibility, your communication skills, your philosophy, and combine them all into one undeniable package. It's exactly this combo that lets you invent roles that simply do not exist on paper. You aren't just a muralist. You're the person who figures out why the mural needs to exist in the first place, what story it's telling the neighborhood, and how it anchors the whole identity of a multi-million-dollar civic development. Okay, so how do we actually pull this off in the real world? Well, we reverse engineer the opportunity, and we do it using this 4-step system. Step 1, find signals. Seriously, stop looking at job boards and start reading the news. Look out for city revitalization grants, huge new real estate developments, upcoming festivals. Step 2, identify the need. Ask yourself, what are they missing? What visual or cultural layer could take this massive project from totally boring to absolutely iconic? Step 3 is where you actively package your value. And finally, step 4, build the network. Because remember, you aren't just a technician begging for a gig, you are stepping up as a connector, a consultant, and a trusted curator for these project leaders. Let's zero in on step 3 for a second, packaging your value. If you walk into a developer's office and you just say, hey, I paint, well, you've immediately commoditized yourself. Right then and there, you become a line item expense, just another vendor. But if you walk in and say, I help transform spaces and experiences through visual culture, storytelling, and artist-driven engagement, boom, you have completely repositioned yourself in their mind. You're no longer talking about the physical act of applying paint to a wall, you are talking about the strategic outcome that they actually care about. You're solving their high-level problem. To see exactly how powerful this approach is, let's look at a real-world case study. Anthony Vella, who goes by JawsAtak 47, didn't just fire off a standard resume to a downtown Medford revitalization project. Instead, he sent a position proposal. He noticed a development happening, a signal, right? Exactly like step one. And notice how he drafts this document. He states directly, you are building something that deserves a visual and cultural identity to match its ambition. I'd like to be part of shaping that. That is brilliant. He's actively proposing a role that the organization didn't even know they needed to hire for yet. He's literally intervening before a job is ever posted. Now, check out how he maps his crazy diverse abilities to make this work. He doesn't just give them a boring list of software he knows. He lists visual identity, cultural translation, specifically noting that he speaks both street and boardroom, and artist curation and connection. He takes this super rare stack of skills and directly connects it to a proposed title. He literally gives them options like creative consultant or public art lead and outlines exactly what that entails. Mural concepting, community arts activation, placemaking consultation. Do you see what he's doing? He is doing all the heavy lifting for the client. He's defining the job, the timeline, and the value before they even have to think about it. Now, of course, a proposal needs backing, right? You need evidence. So Anthony provides this section he calls proof of the pattern. He isn't just claiming he can do these things. He's showing a real history of building engaging infrastructure. He highlights his city mural proposals, sure, but he also includes Canvas Wars, which is this competitive live art event that he built completely from scratch. He handled sponsorships, logistics, the digital build-out, everything. And my favorite part? What's truly brilliant is he even includes his experience doing teppanyaki performance. It sounds crazy, right? But he points out that it proves he knows how to read a room, how to read an audience, and how to deliver a memorable experience. It perfectly proves he is a true synthesizer. There is a quote right from Anthony's proposal that to me just perfectly captures the entire ethos of the creative consultant. He writes, I don't wait for permission to create. I build the thing and bring people into it. Man, talk about a mic drop. Look, you have the skills to build worlds, to shape environments, to create culture. Stop waiting around for some gatekeeper to hand you a permission slip in the form of a W-2 job listing. It's time to recognize the immense value of your synthesized skills and step into the arena as an equal partner. The systems all around you, your city, the new developments down the street, major brands, they are absolutely starved for the exact culture and visual identity that you naturally produce. They just need you to show them how it works. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a challenge. Look at the developments happening in your own city right now. Look at those empty spaces and upcoming projects. Stop asking who is hiring and start asking yourself, what role will you create?